Welcome to the Nitpicking Nerds and the Ranking Every Commander series.
This time we're ranking every commander from Modern Horizons 2.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We're still bringing you daily content. I think we're over 100 days by now. We've been going since February 26th of this year. So support us on Patreon if you got the extra dollars, or you can just go to the link in the description and buy some TCG player cards that you're probably going to buy anyway, and that also supports the channel.
Okay, so today what we're doing is we've ranked every commander ever, of all time, that's ever been released. And we took the new ones from Modern Horizons and we threw them into the list using our grading system, which ranks 5 things. BZ, what are those 5 things?
Yes, so I just want to mention there are 1,143 legal commanders, all of which are now ranked on the link that you can find to our spreadsheet, which is also in the description. But we are doing power, fun, artwork, coolness, and uniqueness, all the factors that contribute to someone choosing a commander, picking that commander. So we're not just going by power. It all contributes. Commander is not only about power, and it's honestly not even only about these 5 things, but we've got a pretty big spread of what makes a commander good in all aspects.
So we've cast a wide net so as to cover a lot of the things people would use to choose a commander. So let's hop right into it. Let's just do the worst commander from Modern Horizons 2. It's Torak, Dread Cantor. Right above Rashida and right below everyone's favorite grandma, Sengir, at 939. 1 on the black for a 2/1. Legendary creature, human cleric. It's got a kicker for black. Protection from white. Whenever an opponent discards a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Torak Dread Cantor. Whenever Torak enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. Well, for commander, this just isn't going to do very much at all. You're only targeting 1 opponent to discard 2 at random. Sure, he could get pretty big, but he's still a vanilla guy. 1 for power. This isn't a strong card.
It only technically does something. This has so many words and they don't translate to almost anything. The only thing you can do is like bully 1 player, which is, and then, that means it has no fun.
It has no fun because
there's nothing to do.
There's nothing for you to do. You're going to make them discard their cards. That's not fun for your opponents at all. They're going to hate that. And on top of that, you've done it. You did the thing. You've made all your opponents discard their 7 cards in hand. You have a huge creature that can be chump blocked.
Forever.
Unless you're playing against mono white, then their artifacts will chump block you.
Yes. So moving to the artwork, what is going on? Usually cards that are of the modern era get pretty good artworks. Like they're above a 5. This looks like he's wearing a hand-sewn like superhero outfit.
Yeah, it's like he literally has like it's over his head and it's like a cape. It looks awful.
It looks like weird fabric with like some gross design.
The art is still fine. It's not done very poorly, but it just looks stupid.
He looks so non-threatening.
Yes, and for coolness, he got a 5. And that's purely because he's Torak, from him to Torak, which is a beloved and well-known Magic card.
Yeah, he has actually like no lore.
Yeah, like
almost none.
Like nothing. And what's the last category?
Uniqueness.
Here? Yes, uniqueness 3. We have other discard command, plenty of them, and this does not bring anything new to the table.
We're breaking no new ground other than the word random, which doesn't really matter.
Yes. Up next, we have Zabaz, the Glimmer Wasp, above Yorvo, below Nepharax at 862. 1 mana for a 0/0 legendary artifact creature insect. It has modular 1. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters +1 are put on instead. Pay a red, destroy target artifact you control. Pay a white, it gains flying until end of turn. This card is butts.
Yikes, that doesn't do anything. Flying. Don't look at the red like it destroyed, like it can only be bad. It's like a sacrifice, an artifact, but it doesn't. They didn't want to give you an upside.
Yeah, no, this card stinks. It stinks.
It's so low impact. There's not even enough modular cards to make this remotely okay.
Yeah, it's not powerful at all. For fun, there's nothing you can do with it, so it's not going to be very fun. Art, it kind of looks cool. It's a little like bee guy.
Yeah, I mean, the only point it got for coolness was that it's a robot bee.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
None of these new legends have almost any lore, so be on the lookout for minimal talk about the coolness.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is just a robot bee, like you said. For uniqueness, it is the only modular guy. It's a 7. Doesn't translate to too powerful. It's incredible. It's a 10 for like just pure uniqueness, but how useful it is, it's not that useful.
Yeah, not very useful. Next up is Captain Ripley Vance, character we've heard about but have not seen until now. It is Number 854 out of all commanders ever. It's above Ishi Ishi, Aki Crackshot, and below Zira Arian. 2 and a red for a 3/2 human pirate. Whenever you cast your third spell each turn, put a counter on her, and then she deals damage equal to her power to any target. Very simple. This is the only uncommon legend in the set, which means it's not very strong. You can cast 3 spells, but you get 4 damage out of it. Or you can augment her power and then cast 3 spells, and you get like 7 damage out of it.
Yeah, the whole goal, I think, is just augment her power, but it's just not going to add up to anything very powerful. It's mono red also. Casting 3 spells, not the easiest thing to do in that color combination. I guess you can do rituals, but you're not paying off those rituals. That's the tough part. As for fun, there's just not a lot to do with it. Sure, if you pump her power to 10 and then trigger her, she's 10 damage. That's not even crazy. That's not even like
you did so much work.
You jumped through a bunch of hoops and she still didn't do anything very good.
Yeah, the power, her fun at least is higher than the other two. It's certainly not miserable. There's just nothing to do with it. I like the art though. She's very authoritative, and there's like the cannon blastings look really cool.
Yeah, what's her story? She likes cannons?
Nope. Her story is she's a pirate.
Pirate. Okay, so
they don't. I mean, they talk about her, but they don't give her any story.
Okay, so she has those blasting cannons.
Well, I mean, she has. From the other cards, we know that she has an island that's just fortified with cannons from other ships that she's taken out.
Okay, so that's cool. I mean, that's
where the 4 came from.
That's the only thing she has. Uniqueness. I mean, it's a triple spell. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, third spell is the only thing. There's literally no other text. So what else could it be?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on because this one's not very interesting. To General Fierus Rokiric, right above Belbarka and below Lathiel. 1 red, white for a 3/1 legendary creature, human soldier. It's got hexproof from monocolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red-white golem artifact creature token. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere here with power. At least this is very much going to make a lot of power very quickly, but the deck building restriction is you can only play Boros cards, and there's just not too many. His main issue is he's Boros.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with ranking every commander of the series, we grade every legendary creature or planeswalker or whatever, but it's as a commander. This is probably better in the 99 of some like multicolored nonsense deck, but you literally only have there might be 150 Boros cards, and there's probably like 30 good ones.
Yeah,
at most.
Exactly. And that's the real issue with this card, is that there's just not a lot of good Boros cards to work with. If he was 3 colors, any 3 colors, I don't even care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This card will get a boost in power, but he's not 3 colors. Unfortunately, you're stuck in 2. I think being in any 2 color combination really wrecks him.
Yeah, it's not that Boros doesn't have a lot. It's that every 2 color guild, there can only be so many rares and playable uncommons, and all the commons are just not going to make it. So the 4, only a 4 out of 10 for power. Fun, I think there's a little bit more you can do with this. He makes golems, artifacts, casting. If you want to cast the same multicolored spell over and over, you can do some stuff with that.
Yeah, there's things you can do with them. He's not super exciting for fun, but I'm not bored out of my mind like I was with the other ones.
Right, there's just what am I supposed to be doing?
Artwork, he's just kind of standing there in front of some golems.
He looks so small, even though he's a normal size.
Yeah, so the golems are supposed to be big, and he's supposed to be obviously normal size, but instead it looks like they're normal size, and he's just a really tiny guy.
I don't know if it's a scaling thing or if that was always going to happen, but in terms of uniqueness, he's like an old war hero. Wow, how many times have I heard that? 3.
Yeah, old war hero. Cool. Ooh. Uniqueness, multicolored spells. We have a couple things that do this, but not a crazy amount.
Yeah, don't compare this to Oketra because it'll just make you sad.
Yeah, don't do that. Oketra's a little better.
Yeah.
What's next?
Karth the Lion is next. He's at 589 overall, above Uyo and below Tanazir Quandrix. 2 green-black for a 3/5 human warrior. When he enters the battlefield or when a planeswalker you control dies, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You can reveal a planeswalker from among them and put it into your hand, and the rest go into your library in a random order. Planeswalker's loyalty abilities you activate cost an additional +1 to activate, which just means all your Planeswalkers +1 whenever they do anything.
Yeah, which is interesting because a -1 would just be a 0, or a 0 becomes a +1. I love that for fun, which is why he gets a 7. But for power, this just isn't that powerful. It's not adding too much.
No, he cantrips, but then when your Planeswalkers die, they cantrip. And it just ends up, during a game, he might draw you 4 cards. Yeah. It's okay.
Slowly we're getting all of the Planeswalker, you can play Planeswalkers of any color combination. We're slowly keep getting commanders that do that.
Right, you can play a Super Friends deck of basically anything. I remember a couple years ago, you had to be 5 colors or I think it was Bant or something, but then all of a sudden you could just play Is It Super Friends. Yeah, one day you wake up and you're like, what?
Yeah, you can just play Golgari Super Friends now. You couldn't do that before. 7 for art, he looks pretty cool. Anything you want to say about the art?
No. The uniqueness, all he really did was he's like an old magic character.
War hero?
Maybe. They all are, I think, at some point. They really ran out of things to do early on in Magic. I think he formed the Carthalion line, if anyone remembers Jared Carthalion from Commander Legends. So I think he was one of the like OG story characters from that whole era with like Deck and Blackblade in them. And then Jared comes later. But he's boring.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I don't know if any of that's true. Kind of unique, but Planeswalker commanders are becoming a dime a dozen, like I said.
Yeah, a lot of creatures can give you a Planeswalker.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on to the next one.
It's Ave, Progenitor Ooze. Its rank is 534. It is above Sasaya and below Lelia, the Blade Reforged. 2 green for a 2/2 Ooze. It isn't legendary if it's a token. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other Ooze you control, and it has Storm, which says when you cast it, you copy it for each spell cast before it this turn, and the copies become tokens. It's like a creature with Storm. It's super cool. It's kind of like if Empty the Warrens was your commander.
Yeah, exactly. It's not powerful, though. Ultimately, there's one thing you could do with this. It goes infinite with Food Chain. I mean, do we need another Food Chain commander? These are a dime a dozen.
I think we need at least one more on this list.
Okay.
I think we do. But aside from that, it's how it works is, which I didn't know at first, but if you cast 5 spells, including Ave, you're going to get a 5/5, a 4/4, a 3/3, a 2/2. Well, they're going to get +5, +4, +3, +2.
Yes.
They're going to scale up. They're not all the same power.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't make crazy amounts of power, and green's not great at monocolor casting a ton of spells.
Green's okay. I think you can do some things. There are plenty of universal Storm payoffs, like green has creature reducers, and you can play the 4-drop that will bounce itself infinitely. So you can do stuff. But you have infinite summoning sick creatures. There's just better payoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not super interested in playing this card. It doesn't seem very powerful. For fun, you just get to make a bunch of oozes. You get
sweet.
A bunch of a 2/2, a 3/3, a 4/4, a 5/5, a 6/6, a 7/7, an 8/8. How high can you go?
Just have this Helmir Ooze tribal deck. We have a legendary Ooze that's actually good.
Yeah, he is cool, and he is good for Ooze tribal. If you're looking to play Ooze tribal, I don't know.
Who isn't?
Everyone's thinking, you know what I want to do? Ooze tribal.
Ooze tribal today. Ave has no lore, but it is a progenitor Ooze. I don't know if it's a reference to like Adam and Eve. It's got the A from Adam and the Eve from Eve. And it's the progenitor. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's certainly possible. But
a creature with Storm, that is so unique. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. So moving on to a creature with Storm.
Yeah.
We've got Thrasta, Tempest Roar, above Brago, below Feldon at 448. 10 green for a legendary creature, Dinosaur 7/7. This spell costs 3 less to cast for each other spell you've cast this turn. Trample, haste. Trample over Planeswalkers. This card is hexproof if it entered the battlefield this turn. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this card doesn't seem too crazy, but it actually goes infinite with Food Chain.
No way.
Oh, my.
Whoa.
Whoa, and that's it for power. I can jump through even smaller hoops and get a 2-mana 12/12.
Oh, yeah, with Galta.
Yeah. And those hoops are like the size of this hoop is like small. It's like you really got to like just try and
squeeze your way
through the hoop. And it's like Galta, it's like, did you play?
It's like a doorway.
Have you played Magic? Oh, you have? Okay, it costs 2 mana.
Well, I don't know. This one still just wants you to play Magic, but you just don't get a crazy amount. I mean, just to be clear, single combos like the Food Chains and the other things, they don't boost the power by itself.
Not a ton.
It's just something to keep in mind. And this it's 7/7. It's got to hit 3 times. The tax is worse on this than Galta.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we're just comparing this to Galta. It just doesn't give you anything to work with. It's just a big thing.
Yeah, but like you're saying with the it doesn't boost the power a ton, it definitely took it from a 1 to a 2. Because ultimately, you can jump through all those hoops. If there's not a Food Chain combo with it, those hoops are useless. This card is really worthless if there's not a combo with it at all. It's just a 7/7 haste that you have to work for, not worth it.
Okay, fun. It's kind of in the middle. Green Storm stuff is cool. It's just not enough to get this past a 5. But the artwork, oh my god, it's amazing.
There's 2. They're both good. I would give a 9 to the normal one, but the alternative art with the it's amazing. It looks so scary.
Yeah, for ranking every commander, we take every art and we pick our favorite, and then we give it that rank.
Yes, yeah, we pick the best art because the idea of it is why does art affect how good a commander is in any way for a commander? Well, you always have it out. You always get to look at it. You get to see your cool card.
It's evocative. It represents the character. You can identify with it and see this person has some awesome trait that I like, or I can relate to this somehow, or any possible trigger of the art. If all the art was blank, there'd be a lot less commander players.
If all the art was blank, there'd be a lot less. There'd be almost no Magic players.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the game would not have any draw without art. And a 6 here for my mind is
Storm Dinosaur uniqueness. And I don't even mean storm. I mean like like a tempest, like a precipitation storm.
Yeah, it is very unique. The storm creature, we already went over how that's unique. There's not many of those.
Yes, there's 2. We're done with them finally. Next is Svalin of Sea and Sky, above Niambi and below Hithonia at 433. It's indestructible if you control at least 2 other merfolk. Whenever it attacks, you draw a card, and other merfolk you control have Ward 1. These are all little tiny tweaks and things to put on a card to make it playable in Modern. I think they were pushing the merfolk deck a little bit. And in Commander, yeah, this is okay. It's not the first merfolk commander, not the best merfolk commander, so it's only like a 3.
Yeah, it's just not that good, ultimately.
All too small potatoes.
Exactly, small potatoes. You have to have a board state for it to be indestructible. Okay, that's fine. The ward is very small potatoes. That's almost nothing.
Yeah, it's not going to change.
If I'm going to want to remove something, that 1 mana is almost never going to make that difference.
And if I want to remove something, it's going to be this.
Yeah, I mean,
this doesn't have ward.
Well, I'm saying let's just say there's something on the board that I need to answer on your side. Small potatoes, 1 more mana is nothing.
Yeah, but you answer the thing that, even if it was, you answer this first. This is just kind of like a flag bearer almost at best, but it's not flag bearing because it's 1 mana.
Yeah. 8 here for fun. Merfolk are beloved. We know it. We're not interested in playing Merfolk. Between us personally, we're not going to build this deck. We know people love it.
Yeah, we remove as much bias from this as possible. It's not like Merfolk are stupid. It's like, well, a lot of people like Merfolk.
Yeah, exactly. 9 for art. Seb McKinnon.
So good.
Always kills it. It's tough. I mean, I'm going to move past it because we just know Seb kills it every single time.
Only a coolness rank of 4. It is referenced to 2 other cards. They're like Sveolite or Sveamite, things from like Fallen Empires. So this is probably a god on that plane, and they finally got a way to represent it in a really, really interesting design. I just don't think the character does anything.
We don't know this character.
We don't know what it is.
It doesn't do anything. It's not that cool. It doesn't. Sorry, you just don't do it. And for uniqueness, it's a 6. Merfolk god, blah blah blah.
Indestructible text. I like that gods all have some kind of super tough to remove text,
except for the Kaldheim guy,
which is like still flavorful.
Yeah, exactly. That's flavorful within itself. Moving on, we have Peru, the Volatile, above Killian, below Erois at 404. 2 red, white, black. Legendary creature, Elder Dragon, 7/7. Flying, lifelink. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay Mardu. Whenever Peru dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Okay, so the thing you need to know about this is you can let it die whenever on your upkeep, or you can keep it around by paying the mana, which is also pretty nice because it is a 7/7 lifelink beater. But there's one thing you might not have realized, and I certainly didn't until BZ pointed it out to me. When it dies, it deals 7 to each non-legendary creature. Okay, let's say there's 10 on the field. It deals 70 damage divided. Oh, wait a minute. This thing has a lifelink, and it dealt the damage. You gain 70 life.
Yeah, you would gain 70 life, and that's where the big power comes from. I mean, if you're playing Legendary Tribal, which this gives you an actual direction to build, hence the high fun of 8, plus the life gain, wipe creatures you don't control, and gain 10 life for each creature you don't control that you wiped. That's crazy.
You gain a lot of life. And the fact that it's in black and white allows it to be a reanimator target. So you don't have to let this go back to your command zone and pay 10 for it next time.
Ooh.
You let it go to your graveyard and you reanimate it. That's where a lot of the power comes from, is just using it again, and the fact that you gain so much life. Not like we were talking about small potatoes. These are big potatoes. These are really big potatoes.
Sizable potatoes. And it gives you an out if you want to use this as a slow board wipe. It'll kill everything without you having to draw a sack outlet.
Yeah, for fun, I think. It's a board. The 2 points that are lost here for fun.
Board wipe.
Or it's a board wipe in the command zone, and board wipes can be unfun. That's just a thing that happens to Commander. It looks kind of cool. I'll give it a 7. What about the lore? What's the lore?
The lore is that Peru, I think, is somehow close to Arcades in some like relationshipy way, perhaps. Some are wondering if they're an Elder Dragon at all, but they're listed as an Elder Dragon. But I don't think there's a cycle of Elder Dragons. I think this is just a 6th one, because I don't think it survived the one war thing. But Dakin Blackblade, controlled by Dihada, summons these 2 and tries to mind control Chromium to kill Peru, and then banishes Chromium somewhere else. And then Peru dies to Dakin, which is what Dihada wanted the whole time. And then she absorbs all of that Peru power that you see when Peru explodes.
Okay. Well, that certainly is a thing.
Meh.
Meh. 5. Give it a 5 for its coolness and 6 for uniqueness.
It's got the Elder Dragon text.
It is Elder Dragon. There's 6 cards that do this Elder Dragon thing. The Elder Dragon itself isn't that unique anymore. We see those all the time. We go from plane to plane. There seems to be old dragons everywhere.
Which makes sense. Because apparently the Ur Dragon is just spitting out dragons constantly.
And imagine like this. Like he has babies.
Like it's Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Where they're like making dragons in a factory in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. Exactly like Boss Baby.
Let's move on to Loneus, Cryptozoologist. It is number 371 overall, above Sliver Overlord and below. Oh, it's a spoiler. Not going to tell you. Blue-green for a 1/2 Elf Snake Scout. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Tap, sacrifice X clues. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of their library. You may put a non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. Then they put the rest on the bottom in a random order. That is so many words. It's all your creatures investigate for you, the non-token ones, and then sack a bunch of clues, steal your opponent's best thing from the top of their deck.
Yes. So this card's pretty good. It got a 5 for power. The main text here that is important and what makes it powerful is you just get a clue every time you play a creature.
That's only 2 mana.
Yeah, and then there is the ability of like using those clues for something later, but regardless, you play a creature, you get a clue, and now you have a way to draw cards.
Yeah, not that blue-green is like struggling for card draw, but your commander is a rock-solid card draw advantage, and if you steal a creature from your opponent, you get another clue. It just fuels itself.
Yeah, it's a really good card. This seems super fun. One of my favorite things at Commander is playing my opponent's cards. It's another way to do that.
And it's not broken or anything. I think the fun is right up there at a 9. Almost as fun as it could be.
Yeah, exactly. The art, really good. It's snake person like doing some snooping around.
And I see like there's the blue spiral in her hands, and then there's like a blue orb above somebody else. I assume those are related.
She's taking their maybe thoughts.
I was just hoping there would be like room for flavor text. I mean, I feel like this card could just have a flavor text of like, I knew it. It's like,
oh, that's a good one. 2 for its coolness because it's a snake detective.
And then there's nothing else. I just have to go on what I see, and I see snake detective. If there was I knew it, it'd be a 4.
That's fair. You know what? That's completely fair. And for uniqueness, it's the Clue Commander. That's what we got. We got the Clue Commander here. Nothing crazy. Give it a 7.
That did not exist though.
Yeah, that did not exist. It is filling in a new space, which is nice.
Who is next?
It is Regavon, Nimble Pilferer. Above Loneus and below Lazav, the Multifarious. Red mana for a 2/1 legendary creature, Pirate Monkey? Whenever Regavon deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. Dash for 1 and a red. I think all of the power comes from the fact that he always comes out on turn 1, and he will always sneak at least 1 hit in to possibly do something. If you're building this deck, you're going to have to really go in on giving him ways to sneak through over and over and over again.
There's equipment. There's lands that do it. I think there's an enchantment called Break Through the Line from like Dragons of Tarkir or Favorite Forge that does it pretty well. Mm-hmm. You can hit with this. It's going to happen. I think the power is right at a 3, though. You're not getting a ton, but it is kind of like a mana dork, and it's always going to get, I think, always 2 hits.
The treasure is going to be very nice every single time because you always be able to use that. And sometimes you're just going to hit a card off the deck that's just going to give you an advantage.
What if you just steal a Soul Ring sometimes?
And I mean, that's going to happen sometimes. It's not going to be a super common thing, but you're going to get cards you can use a lot of the time. And when you don't, you get a treasure at least. You get something out of this exchange.
Another fair design that helps you play more Magic and steals cards in a non-ridiculous way. So this is like an 8 for fun.
Yeah, it seems so fun. I love playing my opponent's cards, and Regavon looks so cool. I know it's not going to be that good in my Tibalt deck, but it's going in my Tibalt deck.
Ooh, I just thought of a random card that goes in the Regavon deck. You get to play Oblivion Sower when you exile their lands and can't play it.
Ooh,
oh, baby.
Got him, baby. Great art. This is just a little monkey.
He's cute. I actually don't like monkeys, and I still think Regavon's pretty cute.
He's just got all of his little treasures, and he's looking at them.
He's got the goggles are just adorable.
It's a monkey with goggles. That is pretty adorable. How cool is this? Well, it's a 6 because it's a pirate monkey.
Well, it's a pirate monkey that is a pet of a 15-year-old pirate who like left and then came back and is now just a BA lady.
Regavon is awesome. I love Regavon so much. He's just a pirate monkey. That's so cool. Pirate Monkey? How is Pirate Monkey not cool?
You would love this set. It's called Ixalan. They got pirates and dinosaurs.
Well, I didn't care about that, but this is Pirate monkey. You're missing
2 different words that they just stuck together.
Okay, if there was a pirate dinosaur, that would have been cool. It's not like pirates and dinosaurs. It's like, okay, that's kind of wacky, but it's like, okay, this pirate is a dinosaur. What? That's amazing. Get out of
here. Well, it's pretty unique. It lets you do some stuff. Still, we've kind of seen all of these individual pieces before, just not on the same card. So let's move on to Chatterfang, Squirrel General. Chatterfang clocks in at number 337. It's above Vorel of the Hulklade and below Omnath on the grand list. And it is 2 and a green for a 3/3 legendary squirrel warrior with Forest Walk. If 1 or more tokens will be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrels are made instead. Black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. So it's a green-black commander that lets you either play tokens or squirrels. Because if you're making tokens, all of your token makers say, hey, double the number of stupid 1/1s, we don't care what type they are, or make as many tokens as you were going to make, plus a removal spell.
One of these 2-card combo that'll let you go infinite with a payoff. Well, how about Chatterfang and Pitiless Plunderer? This is super silly. You just sack you sack one of your squirrels, get a treasure, get a squirrel. So you sack the treasure for a black, do it again. Oh, did you have Blood Artist out? Oh, you won the game.
You won the game. Pitiless Plunderer easily earning its spot in the broken treasure cycle. As soon as there's a green one, we're making a short about it.
Yeah, the broken treasure cycle.
100%.
That card is super good. It goes infinite with, what is it, a ham sandwich?
Yeah, Chatterfang does count as a ham sandwich. So it's got the power and it's definitely got the fun because it's squirrels. It finally lets you do something with squirrels that is commander legal.
Green-black squirrel tribal. This is going to be a 10 all day. He's got some nice art. He looks pretty BA for a squirrel.
They're running down a tree. I think it's just kind of funny.
It is. It is adorable.
Almost no coolness. You have it's just a squirrel.
Squirrel general is the coolness. That line, and then that's it. Chatterfang's kind of a cool name too.
Yeah, Chatterfang.
Chatter,
whatever. 6/4 uniqueness. Squirrel general tokens, sacrifice tokens. It's pretty good. Pretty good on uniqueness.
Yes. But Tribal's been done a million times, and so has tokens. Next, we have Usri, Fortune's Flame. At 3/20 above Tabarax and below Saxera. 1 blue-red for a legendary creature of Freet 2/3 with flying. Whenever it attacks, choose a number between 1 and 5. Flip that many coins. For each flip you win, draw a card. For each flip you lose, Usri deals 2 damage to you. If you won 5 flips this way, you may cast spells from your hand this turn without paying their mana cost. I just think this is powerful. I think on average when you attack, you're going to either draw 2 cards and take 6 damage or draw 3 cards and take 4 damage. That's just good in itself, and that's going to generate a lot of card advantage. We already know there's ways to help you flip and win easier.
Yeah, Krark's Thumb comes to mind. I don't know the math, but there is math. There is some objective number of what are your odds to win 5 flips in a row when you get 2 flips each time.
It's got to be pretty good. I just think this card's just powerful with itself. You don't have to jump through the hoops. You're just
draw a couple cards.
You're just going to draw cards. It's a 3-drop. It comes out early. It's going to be able to attack pretty freely because it's a flyer. It's going to draw you cards, and that's what I really like about this card. I think it's a 10 for fun. It's a coin flip commander. Everyone loves doing this thing.
It's not that bad. This is also small doses. I think it's flip 5 coins. That's it. It's not like we're going to be flipping until the end of time. Where like the other 2 commanders, the partners have flip until you lose. It's like, well, if you never lose, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is really cool. I love that if you get, there's going to be times when you attack with this on turn 3 and you flip 5 coins and you win all 5. It's going to happen some of the time.
That just makes for crazy stories.
I mean, yeah, there is the potential to just win. He just omnisciences for the rest of the turn.
Oh, yeah.
You can just win the game right there, which is cool. Yeah. Sometimes this stupid Efreet actually grants all your wishes.
Right, so because it doesn't even omniscience, it draw 5 omnisciences, right?
Yeah,
you get to draw 5. There's probably even better would be just attacking because you can, drawing 5 omniscience and then not being able to do anything.
I think I'm just always choosing 5 on this. I'm just going for it.
Just rock and roll. Let's go.
Yeah.
Give it lifelink and then you won't even lose life.
Oh, it'll deal 2 damage to you. Gain 2. That's really silly. I like that a lot. Yeah, you can just put like a basilisk collar, any of a sword.
Shadow Spear.
That's what I was thinking. That's pretty good. That's funny, actually. I enjoy that. 7 it's pretty good. He's just an Efreet that flips coins. That's what he does.
He's like a guy. You don't know much about him. He's kind of cartoony.
He looks really cartoony in the one art, but I like him. He basically he's like Jafar. He reminds you of Jafar. I don't know.
Jafar. He reminds me of depressed Genie.
Or Jafar combined with Genie. And
only the depressed Genie, where he's like, I gotta kill you, Al.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
Because he lost a coin flip. Al, let's see if you die.
He keeps stealing 2 to him.
All right.
This is a very unique commander. It says flip 5 coins and then omniscience. Nothing does that.
Yeah, exactly. Very unique commander. But we have had other coin flip commanders. This is the first one. Yeah.
And it won't be the last.
Well, maybe it will. You don't know.
All right, we're into the top 4 commanders from the set now. This next one is one of my favorites. It's Sithis Harvest's Hand. She comes in at 270, and she's above Ashaya and below Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Green-white for a 1/2 legendary enchantment creature, Nymph. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and you draw 1 card. Oh boy, this has the highest power ranking in the set, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, this card is extremely powerful. You just shove it in your command zone. You always have the 2-drop, and then all of your cards are going to be drawing because you're an Enchantress deck. You build your deck to play around this card, and it's just absolutely going to be a house. I mean, if every spell in your deck says draw a card on it, oh, is that good?
We can go back to our top 10 cards in the set. We had Moderation on there, and that's a strict build around 2. It says you can only play 1 spell per turn, but we want so bad to have that. Oh, look, you're being enchantments. That's why it's the 8. It's sort of 8 for us was sort of
it's build around.
It's extremely powerful, but with a strict build around.
Yes.
And that's what we have here. All your cards now draw an extra card, and you just get extra life on top of it, so you just die more slowly.
Yeah, this seems like a fun card. It seems like a solid 7. It's just Enchantress. The unfun parts, I think, are sometimes they're just going to churn through the deck, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Feels like a Storm deck.
Yeah, it just comes out early, and it's hard to interact with this thing because it's not hard to interact with, but it comes out quick and fast. So you have to interact with it quick and fast, or else it just keeps gaining so much value so fast. And by the time you kill it, they might just be able to replay because it only costs 4 mana at that point. Ooh.
It'll come down at least 3 times a game. It's just so easy to cast. And I think that I have an Enchantress deck. So the direction I've been taking that is Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth, and like Exploration and Burgeoning. You just poop out all your lands, and then you're never going to not be able to cast this.
Yeah, exactly. You can play it over and over and over and over again because at the time that's going to die, you're just going to probably have enough mana because you ramp.
Yeah, you feel yourself, and your ramp is hard to interact with. So this card's amazing. I think the lore and the coolness, kind of tough to pin down. She's just a disciple of Karamitra. I like that, but I don't like that very much.
Something we didn't mention before was it's an enchantment itself.
Yeah.
So when it dies in the middle of the game and you play another Enchantress, then you play this, you'll draw off of it. This
triggers those.
Of course. And you're going to play like Sanctum Weaver in this deck. It's an enchantment for Sanctum Weaver. You just care about enchantments. And it is an enchantment.
Well, how about your enchantments have Shroud or your enchantments have something else?
You just wait. You put this in your deck, I swear to God, I'll put Back to Nature in my deck for you.
Back to Nature, just for me.
Just to get you.
Just for me. The overall uniqueness, there is not, before this, an Enchantress commander straight up. We had Tuvasa, but it's 3 mana, and it only triggers once. It's not a full Enchantress. This is just a full Enchantress, and they were like, yeah, screw it, 2 mana.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on, this is the 3rd best commander in the set. It is Grist, the Hunger Tide. We got a 215 above Niv-Mizzet of the Firemind and below Saram. 1 black-green for a legendary Planeswalker. Grist enters with 3 loyalty. Static ability, as long as Grist isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. That's why it can be your commander. +1, create a 1/1 black-green insect creature token. Then mill a card. If an insect was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. -2, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. -5, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Well, let's talk about the worst part of this card, and that's that it's not very powerful. I mean, sure, let's just say you put them out and you ultimate right away. Okay, the really good scenarios, you deal like 15, and that's just like an inconvenience to a lot of players. It's good. Trust me, dealing 45 damage is good, but it's like, that's like you jumped through hoops, you did the thing, and that was the best thing you could do.
Yeah, you had to really build your deck around things. That being said, so much fun.
Yep.
To have. Me and Joe were thinking about building this in real life. Out of all these commanders, we would build this one the most. There's so many weird things you can do with it. You can play Maskwood Nexus and make all your creatures in your graveyard insects, so that whenever you mill a creature, it's always an insect, and you just keep going, and then you ultimate, or you can try to ultimate multiple times in a turn and just actually kill people. So there's stuff to do, but it's so hard to pull off, and there's just so much restrictions on it, and it's not super strong. But this is the redemption for us giving Grist, what do we give it, an F in the grading video? Because that was for power. This is not power. Power's only 10%.
Yeah, I mean, it got a 2 for power. It's a bad commander. It is not. If you're looking to build a deck that's looking to just win, don't build this. This isn't. He's bad. He's bad for winning. But if you want to have fun, he seems really cool. I love the interactions. I love that when he dies, I can reanimate him.
You can unearth it. Yeah.
Yeah, all that's cool. Art is amazing. Absolutely love this art.
Fantastic. First non-humanoid planeswalker we've ever had in a black bordered set.
That's the 5. That's the 5 for coolness. It's this insect planeswalker that is really gross. I love the regular art. The other art looks cool too.
Yeah.
I love the regular art where it's like
disturbing.
It's got like a human skull.
I don't know what it's doing or where it is, but and then the next one it's in it almost looks like a battle suit made of insects.
I think it's using so in the human one, it's using a human skeleton to take a form.
Right, that's what it seems like.
But I think the other one is like some sort of beast.
Yeah.
That it's using to take a form. Oh, it's so gross.
Yeah, if anyone this is going to appeal to 2 people, but I remember an episode of Doctor Who, an old one that
this is going to appeal to everybody.
That this made me think of. It was I think it's called Silence in the Library with those like piranha things. Some people will know what I'm talking about. That's what it reminds me of.
I certainly don't. And it got a 10 for uniqueness. This is a planeswalker. This is the only planeswalker without the line of text. This can be your commander. That can be your commander. So that is super unique in itself. This cares about insects. I mean, there's a ton of things that make this thing unique.
Well, it's the only thing. It's like the only commander that is a creature, or only planeswalker that's a creature during deck construction, but then basically never again.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool.
It's crazy.
This card is super cool. What's next, BC?
Next is Asmorano, Marduka and Akaldakar, and it's at 126 above Guillaume and below Maelstrom Wanderer. No mana cost, which means you cannot cast this card. It's a 3/3. As long as you've discarded a card this turn, you can pay a Rakdos Hybrid to cast the spell. When Asmorano, Marduka and Akaldakar enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card named the Underworld Cookbook, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Sacrifice 2 foods. Target creature deals 6 damage to itself. All right, this is awesome. This is the Underworld Chef. She's just a complete goofball. This is such a weird, odd card. Power, it's kind of there. She always costs 1, replaces the card you discard, and it's like a madness tribal.
Yeah, she gets the cookbook. One of the main things that this is more powerful is the cookbook dies. She's kind of just this thing that doesn't do anything by herself.
Yeah, the tax is low though. Costs 1, then 3, then 5 if you're taxing her, but it only amounts to a 3. Fun, 9, through the roof. This is sweet. You're making foods and then trying to blow creatures up with them.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool. I like it a lot. I like the art a lot. She's just kind of cooking. Is she putting a scorpion on top?
She's putting scorpions on a top of a dish.
Yeah. For the lore, okay, quick here.
Yeah, hit him with the lore.
Let's hit him with the lore. She worked for a pit lord named Vincent. She had to cook for him every single day for some set amount of time, and then after she was done with that, she would be left free. So she did that. He loved all of her food. She made a cookbook. She only sold 2 copies to Vincent and her mother.
Yeah, and then the food ended up being super popular anyway, but she didn't get any money or anything for it. Just such a bad beat. This is a unique card. You can't cast it. It's got to have that alternate ability on
food
it.
Commander.
It's pretty cool. I like it.
It's actually above another food commander, if you didn't notice that. It's pretty funny.
Yes, it's above Guillaume, the Master Chef.
And the best commander from the set, it's Garth Oneida. He comes in number 23, above Beladros Witherboom, below Omnath Locust of Creation.
23 of all time.
Wooburg for a 5/5 legendary creature, human wizard. Tap, choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Braingeyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copies, you still pay its cost. This card is really powerful, not just because it can combo. It does combo. You do all that with the Black Lotus, the haste, and Deadeye Navigator. But on top of that, you add in the fact that it pays off that combo. The fact that it's card draw, it's removal, it's a big dumb creature you're never going to play. The best card in your graveyard. That's all adds up to a really strong commander.
Yeah, it taps for 3 mana. And if you want to just say it taps for 3 mana and then next turn, you'll tap to draw 3 cards plus the 3 from the Black Lotus you made. That's already pretty sweet. I think this card's very great. It's got a lot of fun to it. I think, the combo part is where you're going to lose some fun. But it's maximally fun with a kind of a lame finisher that you might just lose to that doesn't feel like it's what this card intended to do. He's
insanely good art. I mean, I really like this art. The stained glass look, everything. I So we're not going to go over the lore too much, but I want to say we gave it a 10. This is this is the first character for a novel. He's loved by a lot of people. I'm not going to give him less than a 10, even if I don't like his story that much.
It was actually pretty good.
Wasn't his eye plucked out?
Yeah, his eye was gouged out when he was 5. There's a lot of stuff this man's done. He learned how to planeswalk just through like spell casting back when that was possible. So Garth's done a lot. I would recommend just going to the MTG wiki, checking out his story. For uniqueness, this card literally just makes 6 cards from Alpha. That is so cool. Nothing does it straight up.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Garth is really cool. And that's all of the commanders from the set. Special shout outs to all of our patrons. We'll do as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. Scrolling on the screen right now. Thank you all again.
Also, would love it if you wanted to join them and support us on Patreon. But we have a link in the description for you to buy TCG player cards from. And when you buy from the link, we get a kickback on the order. And we really appreciate it because it helps us grow as a channel.
It helps a ton. Thank you for that too. We have a Discord if you want to hang out with us, hang out with people who love Magic the Gathering. Head over there, and Commander, obviously.
Yes. Tidbit. It was in my head all day. I don't know why, but we watched Bo Burnham Inside, and that special is amazing.
It's funny. It's very enjoyable.
Super interesting. It's like really deep unexpectedly.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a nice little unexpected because I didn't even know it was coming out, and I don't watch comedy specials very often.
It's hard. I used to watch comedy specials for fun, even if they were bad. I'm like, what do you think is funny? That's I like have them on in the background. I'm like, every joke. It's like the only thing I don't watch is like the old grumpy dad, like the old grumpy white dad comedians. You can picture like everyone I'm talking about. I am meh.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan though, he's good.
Isn't he old grumpy dad though?
He's a plucky dad.
But he's funny old.
He's a doofus.
Dad. Oh, okay.
Well, all right, well, we're done.
That's our video. Yep. Peace out, Chap Scout.